Long before he became a king, David was just a shepherd boy in the quiet hills of Bethlehem, overlooked, underestimated, and forgotten even by his own family. While others saw only a young boy caring for sheep, God saw something greater, a heart full of courage, faith, and trust. David's story doesn't begin in a palace. It begins in obscurity. He wasn't the strongest, the oldest, or the most likely to succeed. Yet in the silence of the fields, he learned to rely on God, facing lions and bears with nothing but a shepherd's staff and unwavering faith. What makes David's story so powerful is this. His rise wasn't built on power or status, but on trust in God. From shepherd to giant slayer, from musician to warrior, and eventually to king, David's journey shows that greatness often starts where no one is looking. This is not just the story of a boy who defeated a giant. It's the story of how God chooses the unlikely to do the extraordinary. 2 armies stood frozen in fear, not because of thousands of soldiers, but because of one giant. For 40 days, his voice thundered across the valley, and not a single warrior dared to answer. Kings trembled, soldiers hid. But then, a shepherd boy stepped forward. Because the greatest battles aren't won by strength, they're won by who you trust. The Philistines gathered their army for war against Israel. They camped at Soko in Judah, while King Saul and the Israelites assembled in the valley of Elah. Across the valley, 2 armies stood facing each other, mountain to mountain, with a deep valley between them. From the Philistine camp came a champion. His name was Goliath from Gath, a giant of a man, over 9 feet tall. He wore a bronze helmet and a coat of scale armor weighing thousands of shekels.
Why do you come out to line up for battle? Am I not a Philistine? And are you not servants of Saul? Choose a man and let him come down to me. If he is able to fight and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I win and kill him, you will become our servants.
Day after day, for 40 days, Goliath came forward and shouted his defiance. And all Israel, including King Saul, was afraid. Now David, the youngest son of Jesse of Bethlehem, was not a soldier. He was a shepherd who cared for his father's sheep. Jesse sent David to the battlefield with food for his 3 older brothers.
Take this grain and bread to your brothers, and these cheeses to their commander. See how your brothers are doing, and bring back word.
David obeyed and arrived at the camp just as the army was going out to take positions. He heard the war cry, and then he heard Goliath.
Send me a man to fight me.
The Israelites ran in fear, but David stood his ground.
Who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God?
David learned that King Saul had promised great rewards to the man who would defeat Goliath. But David's eldest brother, Eliab, became angry.
Why have you come down here? And with whom did you leave those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your pride.
What have I done now? Can I even speak? Word reached King Saul about David's bold words, and he sent for him. Let no one lose heart because of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." King Saul spoke with a wavering confidence, uncertainty heavy in his tone.
"You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth."
"Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." Saul was convinced.
Go, and the Lord be with you.
King Saul gave David his armor, but David could not move in it.
"I cannot go in these because I am not used to them."
So he took them off. Instead, he took his staff, chose 5 smooth stones from a stream, and placed them in his shepherd's bag. With his sling in hand, he approached the giant. Goliath saw David coming toward him, and he was offended.
Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? Come here, and I will give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals."
But David answered with faith.
"You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. Today the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. It is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands."
As the Philistine moved closer to attack him, David ran quickly toward the battle line. He reached into his bag, took out a stone, and slung it. The stone struck Goliath on the forehead and sank into it. The giant fell face down to the ground. David ran and stood over him. He took Goliath's sword and killed him. When the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled. The men of Israel surged forward with a shout and pursued them. So David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone, without a sword in his hand. And all Israel knew that victory came not by strength, but by the power of the Lord. Those who trust in the Lord do not fight alone, for the battle belongs to him. The story of David and Goliath reminds us that the size of your problem doesn't determine the outcome. Your faith does. David didn't rely on armor, strength, or experience. He trusted God. And because of that, what seemed impossible became a victory. Sometimes the giants in our lives, fear, doubt, struggles, look too big to face. But just like David, we are never alone. When we place our trust in God, even the greatest challenges can fall. May you find the courage of David in your own battles. May your heart be steady when fear rises, and your faith be stronger than any giant you face. And may you always remember, the battle belongs to the Lord. If this story encouraged you, inspired you, or strengthened your faith, consider subscribing to Stories of Grace, where timeless truths come to life, and every story points us back to hope, faith, and God's unfailing love.